Woe is me, for I am undone. The NIV, the New International Reader's Version says, how terrible it is for me, because I'm going to be destroyed. Why are you going to be destroyed, Isaiah? He says, because I am a man of unclean lips. I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips, and my eyes have seen the glory of God. If you go back verses 1 through 4, we see that Isaiah has an experience. He sees the glory of God. He sees the glory of God. You read Ezekiel chapter 1, we see this description of the glory, the majestic sense of God. And then he tells Ezekiel, I send thee. After Isaiah sees this, he says, woe is me. He says, it's over for me. I've seen God and I'm in an unclean state. But see, God reveals himself in another majestic way, in our word that we carry around, that we should be reading and studying daily. He gives us this. We all have Bibles. I saw him flipping when I was asking you to turn to scriptures. God has revealed himself in a majestic way in the scriptures. In the scriptures. Why is it majestic, Brother Gaston? Well, think about it. No writer knew the other writer, but the story stayed together. The story stayed together. When the first 5 books were written, when they were put together, Isaiah wasn't here. But it doesn't mess up the story. The prophecy, the things that were told, came true. They have come true. So here am I, send me. He volunteered. He volunteered. Now let's look at the church of today. Let's look at the church of today. Now, why is it that Isaiah volunteered? We have to understand a concept of why Isaiah was able to volunteer and why we volunteer, why we sign up. Whosoever believeth in him should not perish. Here am I, send me. Same thing. Who will go for us? That's what Jesus asked when he says, whosoever. Who will believe that I am him? Okay? Who will believe that I am him? Let's go to Acts, the 17th chapter. Brent, if you go to Acts, the 17th chapter, and the 24 and 25, this is where Paul is on his second missionary journey, and he's in the city of Athens, and he's passed through Athens. And what he's seen in Athens is, if we know some history, we know that there's Greek mythology with many, many gods. They serve many gods, gods of water, gods of sun, gods of love. They serve these many gods. Isaiah's passed through, he's seen the temple. He's seen their temple that they built with all these idol gods in there. And then there's an inscription to one that says, to the unknown God. Read verse 24, Brent. God who made. Now, I want you to understand, this is when he's on, if you've heard the concept of the sermon on Mars Hill, this is where we are. This is where we are in Athens. He's on Mars Hill. And because he's been coming and he's been preaching and teaching about this Jesus, he has the people in Athens just wanting him to tell us more, tell us more. Who is that? Because they're very inquisitive about what is he talking about. And he goes on, this is when he's speaking. Keep reading, Brent. Since he is Lord of heaven and earth, he does not dwell in temples made with hands, nor is his worship with men's hands, as though he needed anything. Hold that right there. Hold that right there. Now I said we volunteer. Whosoever. So whosoever. What we're saying here is God doesn't need us. We have to, in some ways, we have to get our mindset to understand God doesn't need us. We volunteer. Here am I, send me. Sometimes we want to think, we say that and it sounds good, but what we actually believe or think inside is, here I am, ask me. He's already asked. He's done what he had to do. Jesus already died on the cross, spent 3 days in the grave, and he's gone back to heaven. Now he's asking you, will you believe? And whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. We're talking about a God that doesn't need us to get anything done. One of my favorite verses has become Genesis 1:1. Why is it one of my favorite verses? In the beginning, God. If he needed us, it'd say God and Charles. If he needed us, it'd say God, and you'll put your name in there. But if you read every version of the Bible, it says, in the beginning, God created. Now, why does he need you now? He created a world, and all of a sudden, he needs you. We have to get down off our high horse. And we have to really make that statement come alive. Here am I, send me. And Isaiah made the statement before he even knew where he was going. He didn't know what he was about to do. Sometimes we hear that statement and we make that statement, but then we say, here am I, send me, where am I going? And then send me. And I'll make a decision on whether or not I want to go. That's not the way it goes. That's not the way it goes for a Christian. That's not the way it goes. Go to 1 Timothy chapter 3. Go to 1 Timothy chapter 3, and I want to read verse 1 because I want to show you that the church, God doesn't need us. We need God. And we need to be saying, here am I, send me. We need to step up. We need to be volunteering our services, the skills that we have, to the furtherance of the gospel. 1 Timothy 3:1.
This is a faithful saying.
Now this is where, now here Paul is about to talk about elders and bishops. Read.
If a man desires the position of a bishop,
If a man desires the position of a bishop,
he desires a good work.
he desires a good work. Take the words and look at the words desire. There's no appointment from God there. If a man desires, that's whosoever. Whosoever wants to serve in this capacity desireth a good work. He desireth this position. Isaiah said,